What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great night. It has been one of the longest effing days of my life, and, pretty much last couple months I've been that way. The draft, everything else, but chaos in the air. But, with keeping up to date with the free agency, the draft, all that stuff, I love doing that. But one thing I also love doing is breaking down how these things are going to look. So I know a lot of you guys have been asking for a lot of these graphics, and they take a little time to make. So got to get that time to do those. Now, we broke down the entire roster the other day. Hopefully you were able to check that out position by position so people could understand a little bit about where guys actually play. I know that they get listed a certain way, so that throws people off. So try to stay on top of that. I will post that down in the comments down below if you're interested in seeing that. But brought a few of those graphics over here. We're going to discuss who plays what. What are these guys' roles in this defense? What does this defensive line actually look like? Because I've seen a lot of things going around, and the past few years we have run odd fronts, and predominantly a 5-man front. That penny formation is something we love. We love to run, and a lot of times, you could consider that, a 3-3, a lot of different things, with the personnel, but that's why we talk about versatility and stuff. So I want to explain that here a little bit, and then I got a little graphic for you. So I keep seeing these graphics out here, and people are listing people as the wrong position, just this, that, the other thing. And, I just been too busy doing all of these other things. So I apologize that I have not been able to get this stuff out to you any sooner, but, I am going to do my best to jump in front of that stuff and get you that correct information that you desire. So appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. My man, Justin, let's go. Appreciate you, my dude. Cannot thank you enough for all of the support. And the same goes for you, Luffy, and my man, Sean. Appreciate you all tuning in here. So a couple of you guys, I do believe, were there for the roster breakdown. You've seen these guys. You know these guys, but we're breaking it down. And we'll start with the interior here. Let's take a look at the guys that are actually playing from the one technique. Well, I mean, Jordan Davis, a zero shade monster that can play, a little bit. You can move him around, but we all know he's a 2-gap run stopping monster. We all are just aware of that. But you've got guys that can play all over the board. Jalen Carter, you can put him all the way to the 5 technique, or you could have him playing that 1. I mean, he can do it all. Fletcher Cox, we all know, more of your pass rushing guy that I still think he's decent against the run, but everyone has their role. And Milton Williams, more of that speedster, obviously at 290, you could see the weight kind of helps you see where these guys are going to go. But the interior defensive linemen here are your defensive tackles, your nose tackles. You could be considered defensive ends when you're in those odd fronts, but that's why I try to break this thing down into certain categories so you can see. Now, the depth pieces here, Marlon Tuipulotu healthy. You've got Kentavious Street was brought in. Noah Ellis now healthy this year. And then we drafted Moro Ojomo. So you've got 4 guys here that are, vying for a job. But these other 4 up top here, they're clearly going to get the most snaps. And I'm very excited about all of their, hopes this year, and everyone's going to have a different role. But we'll talk about that here when we get to the rotation. But these are the interior guys, okay? So now your defensive ends, I'm seeing some people listed as interior guys, linebackers, this, that, the other thing. These are the guys that are going to be the one side of the edge rusher. So last year you saw Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham pretty much holding this position down. And Brandon Graham playing that backup to Josh Sweat came in and did some special things, playing, I think it was 47% of the snaps last year. But look, he's getting a little bit older. That's fine. But he's still producing, and you understand that when he's fresher, well, he's going to produce more. So perfectly fine with that. Now you get Derek Barnett back this season, and I know a lot of people hate him, and clearly you would like more production from a first-round pick, but it is what it is at this point. And as a defensive end 3, I think, clearly he'll bring production. Now, to get rid of him, it would really cost the Eagles more money than it would to keep him. So maybe we keep him around as that third piece of the rotation. He's not getting a million penalties because he's not in there a lot. So I'm okay with that. Janarius Robinson, someone we brought in last year. We talked about him trying to compete, for that spot. And this is somebody that I think you could, now someone putting him as a defensive tackle is just completely incorrect, because I think he could maybe dabble a little bit with that Sam linebacker spot. With his size, I don't think he's the greatest in coverage, so you got to be careful there. But these guys lining up on the other side of Sweat or Graham, and you've got Teron Jackson, Matt Leo, no longer part of that, international player program where he is exempt. So he will count against the roster or practice squad. So he's got to step it up, got to see what he's got, 6'7" monster. So best of luck to him. But this is the one side. This is the edge rushers. This is the defensive end. A lot of times going to be on the weak side, but these guys move around so much. We talk about the schemes that you're going to see again this year, but a lot of different things that Desai will bring. But predominantly, you're going to see Sweat on one side, and then on the other side is your Sam linebacker. And for the most part, that's going to be Hassan Reddick. But we brought in Nolan Smith. Now, the reason it says Sam and Will under there is because during the show the other day, I explained that I feel Nolan Smith will not only be the backup to Hassan Reddick, but I think he can play off ball as well. And I think he could also be a backup, if you want to consider that, to the Will, which I do believe, obviously, will be Nicholas Morrow or Nakobe Dean, the other one taking the other spot. So, look, I think Nolan's going to get his fill right off the bat, but he's also one of those guys that fits the mold perfectly for what Hassan Reddick does, rushing the passer, dropping into coverage here and there, but only a few times. And it's to disguise the defense, having that, just fear as a quarterback, knowing that guy could either come eat your soul or drop back and do some damage. And Nolan Smith can definitely do that as well. So for me, I think, I'm excited about that, but I just want to clear up, what position these guys actually play. And Patrick Johnson and Kyron Johnson were the backups to Hassan last year as that Sam linebacker. But, these guys are going to have their hand in the dirt at times. They will be edge rushing here. So this is not to be confused with the other linebackers. Now, Nolan Smith could be tossed in this room as well. Again, I think he will play some off-ball linebacker. He and Nicholas Morrow will do their thing, but Nakobe Dean obviously leading the way there. But you've got Bradley, Ellis, Taylor, and Van Sumer in there. But I just wanted to clear up who's playing where here, because just a lot of confusion out there. Now, I made a nice little graphic for you so that we could break those defensive line players down. So you can see what I mean. When I talk about odd fronts, I'm talking, and a lot of people will say 3-4. And last year, that's how I try to simplify it and say that, 3-4, 4-3. But it's like, dude, we're going to be running so many different things. Like 2-4 is something you're going to, 2-4-5 is like probably the thing we're going to run the most. But it's really just something you've seen. That's like a 4-2. And then you talk about 3-3. That's the 5-1 you're seeing here. So it's terminology that kind of mattered, but I try to simplify it so that you guys can understand, what I'm talking about. And I know a lot of people don't know what the hell it is. So I try to break it down. If I'm not making any sense, please feel free to ask any questions here. But rotated Sweat and BG with Son and Nolan. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Nolan will not play as a defensive end. But again, as I was just explaining how that works, he will be the guy that backs up at Sam linebacker. And he will also be an off-ball guy. So excited about that. But let's take a look at the first and second string here. Let's show you how this is going to look. So you guys remember how it looked last year? That's all I'm doing here, showing you again. So boom, here's your 5-man line. You've got Sweat as the defensive end. And then inside there, you've got Cox, Davis, Carter, and then as your Sam linebacker, Hassan Reddick. Now, in this situation, you could take away Jordan Davis. You have that 4-man front. And then, Avonte Maddox is coming in and you're in a nickel package. So you don't have to play this 5-man front, but this is pretty much our base pack. This is what we use the most. So it is. But this is the front I want to see dominating souls, baby. But the second string line, even that in itself, I think, we've talked about this a lot. Milton Williams is about to have a phenomenal year. And the only reason he's in the second string is because Cox came back, and I'm not just going to bench him. And he's not a nose tackle, so I'm not putting him in the center there. And Jalen Carter, first-round pick for a reason. He's on that starting line. Now, under these guys, you see, just like last year, Brandon Graham was backing up Josh Sweat as that defensive end. Then you see Milton Williams, Marlon Tupelotu, Kentavious Street. Now, Marlon Tupelotu, he dabbled actually a little bit of nose tackle at USC, but he's not a nose tackle in this league. But I'm not putting Noah Ellis there for the picture, so we'll see if he can make the squad. But, there's only one monster on this team, and that's Jordan Davis. The rest of the guys, they all can play their part. And within this defense, they're all going to have their roles. And, when you need that 2-gap monster, the one technique guy, that's Jordan Davis, man. And we talked about this all of last year. So you can see that. And, hey, look, I think Moro Ojomo, I'm very excited about his future. Maybe he pushes Contavious Street off and he doesn't even make the team. So a lot of things could happen here, but I'm just going with who the top guys are so you can see what it looks like. Now, you see Nolan Smith down there in that second wave. So he's going to be learning from Hassan Reddick, picking up some pass rush moves, getting better and better at the pass rush, which I cannot wait to see. But he's also, again, somebody that while you see that first string of 5 guys in there, Nolan Smith can still be on the field as that weak side linebacker, that will. So that is why when you saw that graphic where I showed you the the outside linebacker, you had Reddick as the Sam, and I put Nolan there as the will, so you could understand that there are going to be situations where these guys are on the field at the same time. So that's why it said that. But he's also a very damn good pass rusher. So he will be that. He's literally, they compared him to Hassan Reddick. So, I mean, it's perfect, man. And you don't have to. And you remember last year, or you see Cowboys fans or just, casual fans not well, Jordan Davis didn't have great stats and Nakobe Dean didn't play. It's like, well, man, if you understood football, you would understand that we had a lot of really good players in front of them, and you do not have to rush these guys in. And I know a lot of people feel that it has to be that way, but it doesn't when you're playing at a Super Bowl level. So there was no rush, and there is no rush right now for Nolan Smith or Jalen Carter. So you're going to see Milton Williams, all those guys getting a lot of snaps. So it's not just they're thrown out here. I think it's going to be very, very exciting. And just wanted to get that out there because I've seen a lot of confusion about that. So just wanted you guys to understand how it actually works. Why would we ever take Reddick off the field? Well, it happens, man. Unfortunately, that's how it works with a rotation. That's literally how we won a Super Bowl. So by keeping them fresh, that allows them to come at these offensive linemen who have been playing the game the entire time. So when you have a rotation like that, and dude, you could go into the third string and just show how much depth we have. And you guys are going to see here in a second when I show you the depth chart, we're loaded, man. So the reason that you rotate players is to keep them fresh and to get the best production. That's the simplest way I can help you understand that. But, that's just the way it goes. Now, you're not going to rotate corners and safeties, but you will definitely be doing that. Linebackers a little bit, but the line, that's always how it's going to be. And that's how we won our first Super Bowl and almost got that second one. Now, clearly it was Waterworld, so they took away that pass rush. And that's why I've been asking for Chiefs week 1. I don't care. I'll happily watch their banner get hung because I'm pissed. And if they don't have a sloppy field, I want to see how they do when Patrick Mahomes is laying on his ass. Now, clearly, we beat the hell out of Patrick Mahomes anyway. His playoff career low, his lowest yard total in like 38, 37 games. We whooped his ass. And, hey, good job by that field crew. But it is what it is, my man. Why is this guy hiding? Who is he hiding from? I didn't hear. Maybe they're playing hide and go seek. Not sure, man. I didn't know he was hiding from anyone. I just saw him. Did you guys not see all those pictures and stuff? He was right at practice the other day. D-line is going to be very nasty, Sean. Glad you're excited about it. I know I am beyond excited about seeing this defensive line go wreak havoc on the rest of the NFL. And I think that, when I said we're going to break that sack record, that was before Carter. We really didn't change much. You added. You got better. Sure, you lost Hargrave, but I'm telling you, I see this defense dominating in the NFL once again. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for you tonight. Hope you enjoy yourself, a little bit of playoff basketball or whatever the hell you're doing out there. But tomorrow is me and the woman's anniversary, so don't believe I'm going to have a video for you, but I will be back on Wednesday, and we're going to continue breaking these things down, getting to know the Philadelphia Eagles roster. If anything happens, any of these tryout people get signed, whatever it may be. And I misspoke earlier. There's only one roster spot. I kind of left off the rookies there. I was just counting it off the page when I could have just counted my list. I'm a High Plains drifter. Bear with me. But that's all I've got for you tonight. If you have any questions, any comments about this, you're watching this later, please feel free to leave it down below. I would love to answer any questions that you have. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe out there. And as always, go Birds!